today I wanted to go over some of the things that a first time mom should know, especially if this is your first baby, your first pregnancy, what you can expect, what I went through. So, with my first baby, I was 28. I did not expect the first trimester, I was really good up until like week 8, and then I got super nauseous and I had to go to the doctor and actually get a prescription because it was just so bad. So what happens is when your body's low in vitamin B12, um, it can cause nausea and make it a lot worse. Some women have it every day. I didn't have it that extreme, but some women do. So I did have to get on supplementing with vitamin D, taking my medication prescription, and then still trying to like maintain eating like high protein foods, which was really hard to keep down and digest. I'd even get motion sickness, so when I was driving into work, I'd have to like stop and like turn around because I had gotten sick. It was that bad. So that was my first trimester. My second trimester, um, I finally calmed down with the nausea, but I did have a lot of hip pain. It was pretty bad, and I ended up having to like try to find a chiropractor that specialized in pregnant women. Luckily, I did. They were Interlight Chiropractic in Fort Worth. They were great. I went to several, and those are the ones that I really love the most. And I should have listened to my midwife when she told me about them the first time. But I was like, oh, I'll go somewhere else. But I ended up going to them after all, and they were great. So they actually like massage, and getting prenatal massage was best too. Like it really helped my hips. I'm 5 foot, I'm real little, and carrying all that weight centered on me was just super painful. Now, another thing I didn't expect with pregnancy, and these may be negatives, we'll get to the positives. I had the worst acne. I had never had serious acne like all through my middle school and high school years, adult. But this baby, like, I did not have that pregnancy glow. I was like broke out. It was so bad. Even after because I was still nursing, even after he came out, I still had some scarring. You kind of see it there. I did not expect that. The cost of having a baby in the US is crazy, especially, okay, so there's some, if you can get assistance, that's your lifestyle, you're not working, you make a certain income, that's great. But in middle America, us guys in there in the middle, we have a deductible, and you have to meet that. You have to make sure that your doctor is actually in network with your insurance. So call your insurance if you're pregnant. Make sure you're going to the doctor that's actually in network, because my first sonogram, $500. They didn't cover like anything. And I was just like, are you serious right now? You're not. I have to pay $500 for one sonogram. I was like, this is ridiculous. So I did my research. I looked into natural childbirth, and I had worked in the hospital um, before my main job that I have now, and I didn't really like how they treated pregnant women, and it was just I was like, I don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to be a mom in the hospital. It just wasn't for me. So I changed my care to midwifery care and did my research and went to a hospital went to a midwife birth center that was really close to the hospital district. So in case of emergency, I would be near the hospital. Well, as we got into my third trimester, my blood pressure started going up. And I was still driving, commuting pretty far, but we eventually moved towards that direction, closer to my job, to an apartment. So it was a lot better once my commute went down. I didn't have to work as far. So, long story short, I had high blood pressure, and they were like, well, if you have high blood pressure, you can't give birth at the birthing center. And I was just like, what? I was so upset. Because I had just planned this birth Crazy me, right? Plan this birth to be, quote unquote, natural and perfect. And you see those women and they give birth in the tub, and you're just like, oh, this baby. But I was like, okay, you know what, God, it's okay. Whatever you decide, whatever's best is where I need to be. I was 37 weeks, and then they had to put me off work for a while so that my blood pressure could go down. So my blood pressure became stable, and then they're like, okay, well, you can continue with the natural birth. I was like, are you sure? I was like, are you sure you don't want this baby to come out? So they let me go, and I went, and 40 weeks came, and nothing. And 41 weeks came, and I was just like, is this baby coming out? And I was actually in labor, and my doula, the person that's supposed to come and like help you through labor, came, and they were like, I think you're in prodromal labor. And I called my midwife, and she's like, you're in prodromal labor. You need to take some Benadryl and go to sleep. I was just like, something's not right. I even told my husband that night. I was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. Like, something's wrong with me. I was shaking, and I was like on the bathroom floor, freaking out because I didn't know what was wrong with me. And when you're pregnant, you don't think, like, your brain just doesn't connect the dots. Maybe I should go to a hospital. So my midwife called me the next morning to check on me, and she was like, you need to come in. And I was just like, oh, okay. So I told my husband, I was like, okay, let's go. And I went in, and they're like, well, you're dilated to an 8. I was just like, huh, really? I'm exhausted. Because they were like, we're going to put you to sleep for a little bit, give you some Benadryl, let you rest. No. I was in labor. So I went in the tub, and it slowed down my labor. And I was just like, they're like, you're handling this really well. I was like, really? And then they're like, well, we could speed it up. I did lunges, I did squats, girl. I did it all. And that baby wasn't coming. They're like, okay, we can break your water. Oh, okay. I'm tired. Just make this baby come out. They broke my water, and they're like, his heart rate dropped. And I freaked out. I lost it. Because we were upstairs in the birthing center. I had to run downstairs, get in the car. They flew in my car to the hospital. I rode on a gurney with my butt in the air. And then they got me upstairs, and I almost had a C-section, but it didn't happen. Could have happened, but it didn't. And right there, when my water broke, going through contractions, I decided to get an epidural. I decided because I was tired, I hadn't slept, and I had no energy to fight these contractions anymore. It was bad. So I was able to open up completely to a 10, and I was able to push the baby out 30 minutes, done. But after that, trying to nurse him incoherently and just being like a whole nother level of crazy after the baby. I did not realize how crazy after the baby hormones would set me off. And it was rough, but I got better slowly. So if you're a first-time mom, know that one, it's not gonna go the way you expect it to go the first time, and if it does, you're freaking lucky, like you're blessed. 2, always be prepared for not the worst case scenario, but always be prepared for the unexpected, and know that, and have your partner have a plan in case that happens. I had a birth plan, and it didn't go that way. And then lastly, you're gonna have a beautiful baby at the end. It's gonna be great, and you're gonna love your baby like nothing else you've loved before. So that's my little rant tonight. If you are expecting, or if you have pregnancy questions, I'm not a medical advisor. This is just purely my story and what I went through with my first pregnancy and delivery. If y'all have questions, put them in the comments. Thank you for watching. Y'all are great. I'm excited for this channel, and I hope that I can give somebody out there some advice on their first experience. I want to hear about y'all's experience in the comments, so y'all have a good night.